Hey everyone, episode 23, and we find out that Shaggy's been lying to us this whole time. And we hear some horror stories from people who quit their job on day one. And in Japan, we found the negativity calf that welcomes the sad and the grumpy.
Choose the fact.
Boys.
Hello.
Here we are.
Bonjour.
Episode 23.
Oh, my number.
It's nice number 23, isn't it? It's not about 23.
My birthday.
Well, there's a...
Michael Jordan wore it.
Yeah.
David Beckham wore it.
Yeah.
But because Michael Jordan wore it.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's Beckham,
Jordan.
innit? He's basic, isn't he, Beckham?
I think I got the same birthday as Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just a few years of difference.
Similar wingspan as well, right?
Yeah, I can jump as high. Yeah.
White men can jump, it seems.
You can jump as high as Michael Jordan 6 years after his death.
You can jump as high
I jump down in the ground?
You can jump as high as Michael Jordan can fix electric boards.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you almost got there.
There's a coefficient there that's
Yeah,
level.
yeah.
If I'd have just tried harder at basketball, you know.
If actually that would make Dean the best electrician ever, which I don't think he is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, the lights are all on this time, so there you go.
the lights are all on. We're back.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Episode 23. This week, I've had my childhood rocked. I've had my childhood rocked. I done had my childhood hit upside my own head. Shaggy. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
I know where this is
Or
going.
Carolina. He's come out this week.
He's white.
Yes. Well, not a million miles about where I'm coming from this.
God.
So the Shaggy voice,
Yeah.
the deep frog-like. I mean, it's a Jamaican accent, but that's not what makes it Shaggy, is it? Because there's tons of
No, because he's unique even by standards of Jamaican accents. Right?
exactly. But the low voice started out as a Mickey take. So Shaggy has basically come out and said in Jamaica, I think someone needs to fact check me. You do national service,
I think they used to, yeah.
yeah. And he's basically said that that's how the drill sergeants used to speak. So they're like, drop and give me a press up. Like, and it'd be like, it's like, really like, you know, like, that was an awful impression. But I also have never met a Jamaican drill sergeant. So,
True.
but I guess
I've
that's
never
like,
met, like, to do an impression of someone, you have to meet them.
no, but I've never even seen one
Yeah,
on TV. It's like the American.
I mean, I digest. Even. I digest.
I digest. Jesus.
That's digress and jest mixed together, isn't it?
So he's basically come out and said that he did it, and Oh Carolina, his first hit single, he basically did that voice, kind of just messing around, didn't think anything of it, and then it went massive, and then he was like, well, I've got a bit of a crossroads here.
Yeah.
I can either do my normal voice, which he said he did do in a couple of songs, but I'd never heard the songs.
Exactly. Where did they go?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
they weren't featured on Hot Shot. I had that album.
Which one?
And Hot Shot.
No. Which one? Did he do one with Blue Cantrell? Oh, no, Sean Paul, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, Sean Paul, Shaggy walked so Sean Paul could run.
Yeah.
Very cute.
But yeah, so basically he doubled down and started doing his voice.
Yep.
But then he's actually got quite an Americanized accent.
Well, I was going to say, I was concerned that he was not concerned because it's not concerned. I was worried that
Shaggy, okay?
Is he an American with Jamaican descent, or is he actually born and bred Jamaican? I guess he would have to be to do the national service thing, right?
I think there's a lot of Jamaicans that
Conscription.
do move over to America. Like it's a route that's common.
Yeah.
So they might have been brought
Maybe
up in
that's just what
Jamaica,
it is.
but
Because
yeah,
he sounds very American.
he's
yeah,
born in
when he's talking.
Jamaica. But yeah, I think he's been. Oh, he was awarded the Jamaican Order of Distinction with the rank of commander. I think that was probably just because
He's Shaggy.
it was Shaggy.
Yeah,
and it's Jamaica. They give them out for anyone that's.
Stuck after like 6 months of.
Yeah.
You did 6 months in a day, Commander.
But I remember when I was about 9 years old, I formed a boy band with two of the lads from my estate, and it was we called ourselves the Second City Boys with a Z. You got to remember, this is like 1999,
And you were in the second city.
2000.
you
And
know?
is that because
Yeah.
Birmingham is the second city?
Yeah.
Right.
And we were the
Okay.
boys,
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
and the one lad could play.
The boy.
The one lad could play guitar, but when I say
yeah.
could play guitar, he'd done a couple of guitar classes.
Gotcha.
So
The most qualified you had.
yeah. And I was the singer
Okay.
because.
Okay. Destined for the.
Yeah.
You know, before my balls
Side.
dropped, I could hold a cut and pick a tune. And yeah,
Sunday service.
how if there was a fly on the wall and I could see that room now where we think we're going to make it.
Right.
3 white 9-year-old kids doing Angel by Shaggy.
Oh, that's what you were singing?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. Sorry.
Wow.
So
you didn't even have the...
So I'm going,
the deep
life is
voice.
one
Yeah,
big
the
party
open
when
top.
it's still young. But who's going to have your back when it's all gone? And it was all a lie.
Big tune. But
It was
yeah,
all a
that
lie.
was all a lie. That's pretty mad.
You could say it wasn't him.
Oh, God. You think he's wrote that down, and
He's written that down.
He's wrote that down.
But this reminds me, you know, Tony Loke, the Funky Coal Medina. It's a bit before your time, maybe.
You just said a load of sounds that I
Do we know who that is? Tony Loke? He was.
I don't think
I'm pretty
anyone
sure.
alive knows that.
Yeah, yes, they do.
No hablo
Yes,
inglés.
they do. Funky Coal Medina. It was
What is Funky Coal Medina?
It was. I think it was the soundtrack for a film. Go on, have a hit that up. He's also in the first Ace Ventura film. Guy with the crazy deep voice, black guy who is in the police office. And I'm pretty sure the story with him is, and I love that we can fact check me live. The story with him is that he, I think, drank antifreeze or something that really screwed up his larynx when he was a kid. So he has like this craziest deep voice.
like just a silly child thing to do.
Just antifreeze.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, when you're a kid, you wash your mouth out
I'll
with
never get cold again.
antifreeze.
Something like that probably. He's thinking, isn't it?
But that's how he got his famous voice, and then he made
Okay.
a bunch of records off the back of it. So that's like the real version of that. So Shaggy was the B-Tech version.
Yeah.
But ended up being way more successful.
It's quite fraudy though, isn't it? Like, you know, you're making a new sound, but it's
Yeah.
just basically like, but then I guess, yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
How far would you go to start a music career? Would you create a whole new voice?
without talent? Because he
Would
never
you
really
be
had.
Austin Butler? Would you create a whole new identity for yourself, even if it was based on someone else?
Is that
Elvis
what he's
Presley?
done?
You know, yeah, he did the Elvis biopic, and
Yeah.
now ever since then, he cannot undo the Elvis voice,
the soft,
and
deep kind of,
mannerisms.
yeah.
He's getting a lot of flack for it. But
Oh, so he went too far down the well.
Do you
too
think
far
that
down
your
the well.
brain would just flick a switch and you're done? Or like you'd be in it for so long that you couldn't
Christian
get back out
Bale
of
says
it?
that he actually
Or
doesn't know who he is anymore, doesn't he?
just from
he's just
acting so much.
Yeah. He's done so many characters, and you know, because
he's method, isn't he, as well?
You get these actors that are really actors, right?
could see that.
And whether or not it's just.
Because you'd
chat.
probably be going down the store, innit? And you'd probably be like talking like...
But if
back
you
in
think,
character. Do you know what I mean?
if
You
you
know
think
what I mean?
it
Like,
takes,
just to
you
get
know,
stuff.
it probably takes 2 years for some of these big films, you know, like The Pianist, for example.
And you're doing it every day, all day.
Pianist that wasn't Christian Bale, that was Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody.
But that was a film, for example, that like he went in, didn't he?
Yeah, all in.
Christian Bale did it. He went really
The
skinny for one.
Machinist.
Machinist, sorry, that was it.
He's done a lot, yeah.
So for 2 years, you know,
You're doing someone else, innit?
yeah,
And
and then you might have a few months back to yourself and going, what the hell? And then you're going to do another project that's 2 years,
Yeah.
and you put that together for 20 years. It probably is fair to go who even
Yeah. I've
Because-
not been myself for long enough to really know that anymore.
and I know it sounds obvious, but method acting is that you actually change your whole opinion forming brain to suit the person you've created.
Yeah,
So
I
you're
can
not
see
even
that.
thinking what would he do. You're actually just
being him,
skipping that
yeah.
step.
This is why it's not the most respected approach towards the craft, though, right? A lot of actors don't think much of method acting.
Yeah.
And you can kind of
Why?
understand
Because
why.
it turns out too batshit or something? Or...
Well, just the idea of acting, and this I'm paraphrasing off other people, by the way. So it's the idea of acting. You should just be able to put it on and take it back off. That's you acting.
okay.
By you being, you're not acting, right? If you have to go and live off the land for 6
Yeah.
months so that you can demonstrate living off the land in a film, you're not acting.
very true.
You're just living off the land.
yeah, I
you
appreciate
just
that.
know the school.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
Yeah.
I get both schools of thought.
But it's better than just guessing what that's like
Yeah.
and then being a bit cliche.
And you've had some of the best performances of all time, looking at Daniel Day-Lewis,
Yeah.
who's a big
It
time
clearly
method
works.
actor. So it does work. You
Yeah.
can't really grumble at it.
Spilled my drink all over me.
But Austin Butler actually.
Are you method acting right now?
What an idiot.
To act like an idiot, one must be an idiot.
I think I would spill my drink on myself 50% of the time when I drink.
Can I
Coke.
just say, I don't think I've lived a day in the last decade where water has not dribbled down my chin,
Oh, that's crazy.
spilled down my chin, and feed the children for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Remember that line from Anchorman?
No, I did not
It's
remember that line at
it's
all.
the
The coyote of the desert always likes to eat the heart of the young, when the blood drips down to the children for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That's the kind of thing that would have driven me mad a few years ago. You drinking water and spindle down your chin.
Yeah.
I'd just been like,
What do you mean a few years ago?
But if I'm
no,
walking,
I don't mind.
if I'm walking-
I'm serene now.
Oh.
If I'd have seen you just dripping water down your chin every time you drink water, it would make me want to pull my own hair out.
it's not every time.
No, but you said every single day.
But yes, but that's not every time I drink water.
Right, okay.
I'm not David Blaine.
Figure it out. Like, but yeah.
No, but what it is for me is I get a bit complacent. I get a bit complacent and try and do another menial task, and then 2 menial tasks don't make a right.
Mean task?
They don't make a right.
Big deal task. Because my old flatmate, oh my God, we had, this is a tangent, but I've got to go to it. He used to walk into the living room, and let's say there's like 5 light switches, and he would always have to switch like 3 or 4 of them on before he figured out the one that he wanted. The first week, all right,
First
okay,
month
I'm getting a bit annoyed,
yeah.
but like it's fine. A month later, I'm like,
Blackpool
what?
Illuminations in here.
Like a year later, he's still living there, and he cannot get the right buttons. And I'm just like, what are you?
And you're there watching something just like.
But you know what, though, it's
No, I didn't even have to be in the room. I just hear the clicking, and I'm like, this guy can't be for real.
But hold on, though. This is just how different people's minds are. Do you know what I mean? Like, some person's mind just gets it first time. Some person's mind just will never get it. You know what? Joe, shout out to Joe. Gotta love him. Joe ain't getting them switches flicking, is he?
You know,
what I mean?
from living with Joe, you realise he applies 0% of brain power for most things around him, which I get, because for some people they're not even aware that they should focus. But for him, anyway.
He saves it for the big task. Shout out to you, Joe.
Yeah, Jesus, that boy. Watching him use
Saves it for the big task.
He saves it.
The big game, mama.
Right, well, we're going.
Oh, yeah.
We're going east.
We're going Japan. Yeah.
I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it, but
It's like the have you seen like the trend of like if people going Hollywood whenever they go to the Middle East, and it's just bong, and it's like the desert, and they have to play that chord in India. It's always the same chord.
Yeah,
On a sitar.
Yeah.
Suddenly a yellow filter comes over the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, all of that. Anyway, so staying on the theme of Ben.
I'll throw some spring blossoms now.
Cheers.
Yeah.
The sakura trees in bloom. Yes.
Back to the theme of Ben having a side of hope, and what did you say? Miserable. What did you say?
Melancholy with a side of darkness.
Hey.
Easy on the hope.
Guess what, Ben? Have I found the place for you?
It's called hell.
So in Japan, right, there's a unique restaurant that's opened up since COVID that caters exclusively to pessimists. Okay, and it's called Negative Cafe Bar and Mori Ochi, which means forest home, but it's basically negative caf. And it lets people release their crankiness and is suitable for individuals navigating challenging phases in their lives or harbouring pessimistic thoughts.
Wow.
So this guy's opened a cafe in Japan.
What a wholesome place.
Do you think that is wholesome, or do you think it's a guy who is really grumpy and he was once, because you don't want to be around grumpy people when you're grumpy, do you?
You do, because grumpy people keep to themselves.
They don't like
and
hope.
that's
Yeah.
what he wants. That's what the people that go there want. I vibe with that so incredibly hard.
You'd be sick of everyone in there, though.
You're about to vibe a bit more. Okay. The owner of the cafe, who said himself he's suffering with depression, had the idea for like-minded people and said, people always say that being positive is good and negative is bad, but I don't think being negative-minded is such a bad thing. A lot of negative people tend to be reserved in their attitude, which is a form of kindness, and I thought it would be nice for them to have a relaxing place to go.
So
God,
good.
Japanese
Have
get it,
got
don't
it, haven't they?
So
They're in the future,
good.
bro.
They
Like,
really get it, because they say things without fear of the zeitgeist telling them no. They just say things because that's how they truly feel.
that's a good way of
and you
putting
can't really judge anyone for doing that.
no.
And that's so rational.
Yeah.
I can't see how anybody could not vibe with that and not understand what that's about.
100%. And you'd go there even if you just wanted quiet time for a minute or so.
But
You
would
know
it
what I
be
mean? You didn't
quiet?
have to be...
Would it be quiet?
Well, I'm going to show you some pictures and stuff. But so another interesting... so it has an entry requirement which only allows unoccupied women. Men must have a woman in their party. So it's probably like a safe space for women to go.
You've lost me a little bit now.
Yeah, now that feels completely unconnected to the...
Yeah, I do
blurb of
see
the
that now.
of
I'm
the
reading
cafe.
it back out loud. Yeah.
Poor lonely blokes can't even go in there.
Yeah.
You got to go find a friend and now go in there.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, the root of your melancholy is that you're lonely, and now you can't even go to the place to celebrate that.
Yeah.
Bring your
that's-
ex-girlfriend and be unhappy together. That's
True.
What are we?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Anyway, hold on. Maybe this will raise your
Right.
spirits,
Okay,
right?
okay.
An interesting thing about the cafe is it's cocktails, which has bizarrely long names. So here are some of the names of the cocktails. On my birthday, my mum sent me a melon from the countryside, and I didn't have the heart to tell her that I don't really like melon very much anymore.
Wow.
That's the name
Easy
of
on
it.
the easy on the ice.
It's all ice.
You know the little like pads that the waiters get, It's just like keeps.
Throws out a massive. Can I write that in shorthand? Another one. The only good thing about my dad was that he was an earnest person, but 22 years ago he suddenly disappeared, leaving behind a letter that said, "Pegasus are real."
This is good.
In short, my dad's a crazy person. The Pegasus is real. It's another Hercules reference, for God's sake.
That's another Hercules reference.
What's going on?
And the last one was, yesterday I buried the cursed Kokeshi doll deep in the mountain forest, but when I woke up this morning, it was back on my shelf.
Oh, I've seen that film.
Oh. Is it really?
Kokeshi doll. In the,
I was
in the
about
woods.
to. I was going to Google what that was, but I thought you'd tell me anyway. So here we are. Hey, look who's foregrounding his own life. Damn, he's doing movies.
It's a really interesting concept. Are you? Is that?
So we're pretty much
off.
there. I just read the next thing that I've written in my thread, which was eating Skittles in a sort of order. But anyway, that's mean.
The ramblings of
Another place in Japan, as a side note, has basically charged people to get slapped by a geisha before their meal, and you have to pay more.
That's quite Japanese, and
you have to pay more if you pick the woman that you want to get slapped by.
yeah.
Oh, it's the strong women.
No, they're geishas. They're like sweet little geishas.
I've seen a place that does like women that work out, and they all work, and all the ones that work there, and they do the same thing.
Wow.
Give you a little slap or like.
There's a lot of dom sub stuff in Japan, isn't there?
Yeah.
A lot of power
Fair play
dynamic.
to them. They
But
get what they want.
this is the place, you know. We can show the pictures after.
Yeah, I'll put it
but,
up.
You know, it's made like cute little spaces for people to go and sit. I mean, that person's asleep on a sofa or something. I don't know. And then look at the drinks, though.
They
I
look
think
good.
it's
Hey,
a good.
which one's that?
I think it's a good story, but like a room full of really sad people would not be a vibe.
I don't know about that. Okay, so here's
Like genuinely sad though.
Yeah.
So this is what I thought.
I'll
I'll pick this one because I thought you both have
So
good things to say.
I'll talk through how I consider this. So I would probably think it's going to have some pretty somber but like pretty chill music on. You're not going to get disturbed. I would assume that you'd be able
What music?
to order your stuff from the table rather than to have to do an interaction with somebody.
So you're saying what you want here?
I'm assuming this is how it would be because I'm picturing
Slash
this
what you really want.
Like, and I think
It's time for him, isn't it? So he might as well tell us. You know.
I think there is something really nice about being in a social situation where you're not having to be social, and you can all be there doing your own little thing, and everybody just respects the boundary of you're there just to chill and do your own thing. I'm here to do my own thing. Same thing for everybody, and I actually think that will elevate people out of that a little bit, let them do a little bit of decompression of the mind, just chilling in a little space, and not having to just do that.
And do
in
it
there.
socially, but not socially.
Yeah,
Instead of just going home
not
to
just
like,
doing
do
it in
the
your
whole
own
game.
four walls.
I
Exactly
go
that.
for dinner on my own when I travel for events and stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't want to go out with the rest of the team.
Yep.
Just because I'm with them all day. And I go, do you know what? I've already found a restaurant that we drove past earlier that I like the look of. And I go in there. I might be a bit chattier to the bar person, waiter, because...
And you take it and leave it as you want, though, innit?
But then I
You know what
also might just put my headphones in or and watch something, or like whatever I do, it doesn't matter. But like, there is something about being alone in a social environment.
Yeah,
You're connected, but disconnected.
Doing your own thing.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think the important part of it is allowing someone to go through what they're going through, but in the safety of other people. Because it's the people that have to do that and then just go home and sit by themselves all night, and look at the same four walls that they always do the same thing and drink their own beers in a little corner.
Yeah,
that's where it gets a little bit dark.
And then I guess when you are in those times, the worst thing you can see is a load of happy couples. Like,
oh god, yeah,
you don't want to see that. So maybe there is something. Knowing that you're not going to see that type of thing there.
Be with your people.
So, okay.
I think as a concept, there's like some real value in that, and I actually really appreciate it. I still just don't really get.
Feels very Japanese.
I don't get the single men not allowed thing.
That feels like
kind of a bit of
very
off-piece.
Exclusive.
Bit of a bummer.
Would you go?
I get it from a safety perspective, but you know.
Would you go? You'd go to one in London. You'd give it a go.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
We'll see if there is one in London, maybe. But hey, you'd have to go on your own.
I was going to say, I'll see if there's one.
Or find a woman to go with. Because
Yeah, you can't go on your own.
You can't go. But no, really interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. That's kind of cool.
I'm going to pick up on the thread that started last week.
Oh yeah, please.
So if you can't remember,
Nope.
it was. Of course, you can't remember.
Actually, probably not.
If you can't remember as well, it is for people that quit their jobs on day one. What was your "I'm out of here" moment?
Now I remember.
So it was so good. I had to go back in because there's so many ones I had to omit from last time.
Double
I thought, let's do
dip.
it again.
Go on.
So
There's a footballer so good they named him twice, and it it's had to go back. Yeah, it was just
Eric Djemba.
yeah. It was a Dean. I did a Dean.
So my first day working at a games shop, the first half of my shift was basically tidy up the shelves. It was a high traffic location, so the shelves always needed tidying. After 5 hours of just following kids around and tidying up as they messed the store up, he went on break. When I come back, my manager is standing in his strangely empty store, absolutely aghast, staring at a huge steaming pile of on the carpeted floor. Apparently, a homeless person had walked in. Without saying a single word, he dropped trowel and emptied his bowels. My boss says to me, "Oh, good, you're back, just in time.
for the trowel shoveling.
Clean that up. I'm going for lunch." I laughed at him and told him, "You can't be serious. I'm not going near that." He responds with, "It's your job. I'm taking a break. I want it gone before I get back." I told him he's going to have to deal with it on his own because I don't need this job that bad. So I quit. I grabbed my coat and went home. That's day one.
If it was you, he'd come back and there'd be 2 piles of shit. You'd have gone up.
A taller pile.
Yeah, taller.
Put him on top of it.
With a little Uno 2 card on it, or like pick up 2.
I was going to say, I'd like build like a
game
stack a load of games around it and build like a pyramid of games on top of it or something. Yeah.
That is disgusting.
That's terrible.
It's that. I mean, because the thing is,
But that could happen anytime, anywhere,
That is
though.
someone's job, somewhere.
What, cleaning up?
Well, hospitals and stuff. You know, people have to do it.
Yeah.
And
But
you
that's
think,
in a hospital where you're thinking you're going to get that.
Yeah. I remember I did a job once, and it was in Manchester. You know, Piccadilly Gardens in Manchester. The
Yeah, a
big
lot of
square.
homeless people there, innit?
A lot of homeless people there, and we had an activation for an electronics brand doing smart TVs, and we had like those trucks that like expand out.
Oh, yeah.
You like trailers, but then they expand out, and you got stuff going on inside.
That was the second one you was on, innit? Did that? No.
Okay.
Trying to avoid the name, but there you go.
You can replace that with
Or Black
Alfredo.
He just doesn't pick up on it, does he?
How am I supposed?
You thought you were helping. So that's the name you
I
forgot.
walk over on a Sunday morning. We've already done the Saturday. Sunday morning, we started a little bit later. So we're walking over at 9:30 to open for 10. As I'm walking over there, there's a visibly looking homeless man. And he might have just been steaming. Who knows? It definitely was steaming. He was on something. And with his trousers down by his ankles, and he'd basically done a load of almost like, like projectile vomit. It was like that, but from his arse, all over the side. And I just looked at the guy who was like in charge of the maintenance, and he just literally just went, "Get off," and just walked away. And then we ended up getting the council to come and do it, and we couldn't open for like an hour because all of us refused to do it. And I was the manager at the time, and I was like, "Well, I'm not doing it, and I am not
Gonna
telling
make
someone else to
do it. Yeah.
And then if someone tells me why you're not open, I'm going to say, well, it's technically a biohazard, which it is.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I can't, in good faith, ask another person who's
you
getting
can't
paid
ask someone
£10 an
at
hour.
work to do something you wouldn't do yourself.
Exactly
If
right.
you're the boss.
Yeah.
No way.
But he did.
Yeah, because he's a... Yeah, I wonder because he runs a video game store.
Yeah, someone put plot twist. The manager actually took on the floor. It was the employee's initiation.
Yeah, like hazing.
Actually,
No, that's in like a gift.
Oh, right. You said that so much like you...
He's still not getting
The art
it.
storytelling again. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
So we're doing the same thing in that situation, right? We're just apron
No,
off.
I'd build a fort around it and then fuck off. Yeah.
I wouldn't be that near a human. Have you ever smelt how bad human is outside of a toilet? It is. The water in the toilet is doing so
I want
much.
to say I think so. Yeah, it is.
It's doing so much that you take for granted.
We desperately need to move on to the next part of this
But what I'm
segment.
saying is that shot would have been, you wouldn't have been able to stand in
No,
it,
there's no way.
let alone build a fort out of games going, do, 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 do.
Hold on.
I think it needs a turret. Sorry. Do you know what I mean? You'd be out of there like everyone else.
I'd like to think I'd do something to be like, oh, you want me to clean this up, do you? I'd like get a stick and flick somewhere and then, do you know what I mean?
He doesn't need that though. He's already got it on the
yeah,
floor.
but I'd make it worse for him because
It doesn't need to be any worse.
Yeah.
It's as worse as it really gets.
Well, don't ask me to clean up poo because you're going to have to clean up more.
But yeah, first day. Could you imagine getting home to your mum I'm assuming he lives at home because it sounds like one of those early jobs. How was your first day? Don't even. Yes, there we go. This one is nuts, and this is basically this guy's a contractor, America. So I imagine like a labourer, carpenter type person from the way he says. Basically said his friend quit his job and gave my number to his boss that he had, who was apparently awful. So this guy, the boss, calls this guy. So let's call our guy John. The boss is called Steve. Steve calls John and basically like, I need you. Are you free for some work tomorrow? And he's like, yeah, sure. Let me know the address and I'll be there. And he goes, no, I'll pick you up. But like yelling at him, saying, no, I'm going to pick you up. Like, yeah, he's like, I've been on the phone to you for 2 minutes and you're yelling at me to pick you up. But he thought, you'd already been told this guy's a bit of an idiot. So whatever, it's a day's job. How bad can it be? So he gave him his address and he said he'd be there at 6:30 a.m. the next morning, which is early enough. 5:30 a.m. the next morning, this guy calls him and goes, where the is your house? Yelling at him down the phone. So you're already waking up early.
God.
Earlier than early.
God.
Right?
Day off.
Yeah. So no hello, no good morning, just full on screaming. And he's like, he hangs up. The guy calls him straight back. And the guy tells him how to get to his house.
Yeah.
Even though he's already given him his address.
Yeah.
At this point, the guy's two housemates have woken up like,
What's going on?
what's going on, mate?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. He explains to them and they go back to bed. So 30 minutes later, it's 6 a.m. now. Horns going outside. This guy's like going, come on, we're going to be late. Rah, rah. And
When he's on time, yeah.
yeah. And they said they lived on a farm. So look at them. The next neighbour was half a mile away. My roommates once again wake up and they're livid. We all go outside and this asshole is yelling at us to get in the truck because we're late. He's there half an hour earlier than he said he would be. He also doesn't know who is who because he just spoke to me on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm about to tell him to fuck off again, but my buddy walks up to the truck and says he wants to get paid up front. Basically just going like, let's take this guy because he's, This guy lets loose a tirade on my buddy. My buddy just laughs in his face. He says if you're going to be an asshole, he would have to pay him first. The guy just keeps yelling. My buddy says he'll be out in a minute and he better have his money. So for about 10 minutes, they're playing him up saying, we're going to come out in a minute, just basically trying to wind him up. And this went on for like half an hour. And obviously the guy just ended up driving off. But
Where do you get off? Like, there's too much.
Have you got the energy yourself
I know.
at 5:30 in the morning to be that angry about
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah.
Good grief.
I think we said this on a pod before. We're saying the majority of people in this world aren't bad. Like, it's really rare to be
Yeah.
a bad person.
Yeah.
You might make bad judgments and make decisions based off bad information or not,
Poor logic.
But you don't wake up going, I want to make someone's life bad today. That's a really rare condition.
Yes, but there are people that are just miserable, salty.
Yeah. And you've met all of them, and working on sites and stuff.
I remember I had to work with one guy, and we was working away from home. I lived in Birmingham at the time. We were working in London. I was working in London. I was staying away all week in the crappy motel, sharing a room with this guy. We didn't like each other anyway.
Share a room is a lot, isn't it?
I know. And he was I like to drink pints and eat curry kind of guy. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, Friday comes and we get dropped with a load of work that we need to do over the weekend before Monday. And he's like, we need to do all this work before Monday. I'm like, oh, I'd like to go home, but anyway, whatever. And he's like, okay, cool, because I'm going back. I've got fishing, right? So he leaves me with the apprentice, and I'm barely an apprentice. I've just finished anyway at my time. And so he goes away all weekend, comes back, and the job was we had to cut square lights in the ceiling, which was made of wood. And we had to get them all perfect and perfectly square and measured and everything and cut them out, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
So the lights just came through perfect.
Yeah, but like you're cutting out a wooden ceiling above your head all weekend and trying to get lights in it. And it's got to be square. And they've got to be...
It's graft.
Yeah.
But it's graph that an apprentice will probably mess up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the weekend, like we've worked all Saturday, all Sunday. He comes in Monday morning, fresh as a daisy, you know what I mean?
He's had a relaxing
He's been fishing all week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
chilling.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, spring in his step. We get there at like... He gets there at like 7:30 in the morning. We get there at 8 because that's what time we start work.
Yeah.
And we're like rolling in. And he's like, I can just hear him inside. You know what I mean? And
It's
then-
rubbish. What time do you call this?
exactly.
Yeah.
And he's like, fucking hell, this is blah, blah, blah. Like, and he's like, I've had a weekend as well. And I'm like, you've had a weekend. You went home fishing. And that could have been the moment where I was like, you know what, I've had enough.
That
But
could have
I
been
was
your
in
walk
Blue
out.
Water, far from home, so I couldn't.
Yeah,
God.
there's just there's a lot of these people, aren't there? And I think, especially in the more rural areas, like in America, a lot of these seem to be from that, where you're a little bit away from regulations, you know, compared to like a big city.
And a lot of people's emotions.
You
Yes.
just got to deal with ego and emotion. Yeah.
So if you ever wanted to eat in a chain sandwich shop, which we kind of deterred last week, this will put you off. This person worked in a sandwich shop in college. They got the flu before. I'll read it in there how they wrote it. Sorry. So I worked in a sandwich shop in college. I got the flu before my first day. I told them I was sick. They said, come in anyway. It's just training. They had me making sandwiches, no gloves, runny nose, coughing and everything.
Wow.
I left in under an hour and never ate there again.
I mean, why would you do that if you knew you were ill, firstly?
What? To be fair,
I don't think
they're
I
in
asked you to
college. Some young people, you know, you do as you're told sometimes. Some people do, and there's a lot of submissive people when you're young as well. So, they should be.
Oh, yeah.
You
think
really
it's a
don't
bit
know.
full,
You
but-
really don't want to know what you're eating, do you? In them places.
God.
No,
If
we
you're
don't.
deep,
Doesn't
in,
bear thinking about. Honestly, it doesn't.
No. Especially when you've been travelling to the far reaches of who knows where. You know.
I got one more, and this one is a bit of a creep, a bit of a long
doozy.
one. Had two interviews to work housekeeping at a hospital. Got a call the night of the second interview at around midnight from the guy saying, "I was just so excited. I want to call you, and I'm going to call you to offer the job tomorrow at midnight." First flag. I go in for my first day of training, and he has printouts of my Facebook wall and my boyfriend's.
What?
He starts asking me how long we've been together and made it clear he knew everything about us, so don't lie to him. Second flag.
That's not a small flag.
Why
either.
are you still there?
Yeah. I leave his office and do some training. We break for lunch and he sits with me in the cafeteria asking how it's been going so far. Then he tells me
flag.
he expects to see me at his church on Sunday. Haven't gone to church in like 10 years at this point. We all have a quick meeting in our main room and I stay back. Sorry, I lost my phone there. We all have a quick meeting in our main room and I stay back after everyone had left. I put my badge, keys and walkie on the desk and walked the out. I felt bad, but it was no wonder they can't keep anyone. He called me then for months afterwards asking what had happened. He was worried sick. He deserves answers, blah, blah, blah.
God.
I had called HR the day after I'd walked out to tell him I quit and why. So they must have had to tell him. He had no reason to keep contacting me.
Sounds like they don't have a HR either that does very good.
And he was a Mormon.
Did they go to church? I doubt they
No,
went to church.
but he was a Mormon, so it was like
A Mormon church.
trying to get him quite culty, aren't they? Mormons?
God. She hung around for way longer than she should have done.
But again, young and submissive,
Yeah.
and I don't mean that in like a submissive like
But
roll
thinking
over.
this is how work might be. Maybe this is how life is.
Yeah.
Abuse of power.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
And when you first
Yeah.
start work, we said it before, you think work's this big, scary, important thing, and you realise it's just another person taking advantage. But how many
How
women,
much abuses of powers?
how many women watching and listening to this have had that happen? So I bet everyone has at least one story.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you've had anything like that,
Please.
and if you've had any horror stories at work. We want to hear from
Feel
you.
free to share.
And on that
If
note,
That's a really good segue, by the way.
and on that
Yeah, I
note,
really like that.
if you are watching on YouTube,
Yeah, we want some more comments, like and subscribe, please, guys. So far, so good. It's getting better each week, but the more's the better.
Yeah,
Please
yeah, for
like and
sure.
subscribe.
and D,
Yeah. Everyone listening onto Spotify and Apple Music, give us 5 stars, please.
5
You know what I mean? You
stars.
must be enjoying if you're listening, so please give us the 5.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
we're on a mission to try and
Love
get
it.
monetized sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
and we're not saying
summer.
that because we're greedy. I mean, we've already spent a fair bit of money into this already. We just want to make it better, don't we?
Yeah. And do you know what? We'll get there. By the
Yeah,
summer
we'll
this
get- we'll
year,
get there.
I think we'll be there, but only with your help. So please,
We need
guys,
your help.
it'd
So
be awesome.
if you are watching and listening up to this point, pause the episode, go and give us a review, 5 stars, please, or drop us a like and a subscribe and a comment on YouTube. Thank you so much, guys. We really, really appreciate it.
Grazie.
There we go.
Grazie. So what are you laughing at?
So,
What are you laughing at?
Yeah, so
what you're loving it?
I've sent you a little link.
Okay.
I don't know if it's best for me to know. I just want you to see it. I couldn't stop laughing at this because I felt like I'd been personally called out by this video.
Okay,
and I
good.
think you will. I think you will agree.
So it's actually something funny.
it's It is funny. It's funny. Like I think the guy, and he's great by the way. We'll link his content.
I think I've seen him before. Cameron Edwards.
I think he's really, really good, and he's found like a really clever little niche on social right now. I really like his videos, and this one is just me all over.
Some people are so creative, aren't they? With
Really,
little nuanced stuff.
Yeah.
He does all the ad libs and stuff. Listen to this.
What y'all watching?
It's a sci-fi movie. It's called Cyborg's Revenge.
Oh, shoot, I ain't never seen that.
Oh, yeah, you're so professional, Papa. You don't have time to watch movies. Yeah.
It's supposed to be good?
A lot better now that you're here. Yeah, Papa, how about we reach for the popcorn at the same time?
Oh, that's the villain right there, ain't
it? How'd you know?
Yeah, I could already tell.
Something tells me this will be fun.
Oh, that's the hero right there. Oh, they finna have like a little dispute at the end. He almost gonna die, and then he's gonna win at the end.
Bless your heart, you're a prophet.
I just be guessing movies. I don't know.
Wait, can you read palms too? Grab my hand. Come on, grab my hand.
Oh, watch. He finna steal something.
I've seen this movie a dozen times, and I couldn't guess that. You ain't got the powers, Bubba.
I don't know. I just be knowing somehow.
I want to try too. Since you're sorry, down, sucker.
This seemed like a good movie.
Well,
though.
with your narration, it's splendid. Can you tell me how all my days are gonna go too, my sexy sidekick?
He finna leave her.
This is getting kind of scary, guys. So tell us who's gonna win the election. What year does the world end? Am I ever gonna get married? Having another vision? That's so Raven.
The thing is, as well, he's doing all them voices himself.
He's doing all the ad libs. It's brilliant.
I saw him do another one that I.
But so Sam said that was him as well. So you're watching movies and you're literally deciphering the movie as you're going.
Yeah,
Right?
every time.
Can't help myself.
Yeah,
Have to be doing
just
it.
never doing that.
Just along for the ride.
Yeah.
Which is also a massively fun way of doing it. And for those of you listening at home, I think the heading for that was
how people who predict movie plots expect us to react.
So that's the whole idea behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. I remember there was a similar one. There's a guy that I like that I've shown you before that did like the words that sound like the words.
Yes, yeah.
Angus something. I'll put him up. He did a really good one a couple of years ago that was when everyone puts their Spotify Wrapped and it comes out, and it was like how people expect you to react. And he's like, "Oh my God, you're in the top 1% of Drake. Oh my God, you are so on it." And then like the second one,
did you get free Drake tickets? Oh
yeah,
my God.
and then the next one was like, "Oh my God, you're such a Renaissance man. What don't you like? You're so cultured." And it's like always, and you're like, "Yeah, I know," and it's like that is what people.
No one actually cares.
No one cares.
It's just good to share with your friends and catch up a little bit.
We share
but
with each
nobody
other, don't we?
cares.
I'm interested with a few people, but we're all guilty of being self-indulgent.
Yeah.
But hey, come on, because if you ain't, who's gonna indulge you anyway?
There you go,
right?
exactly.
But also, hold on, if when watching films, because I am not that person at all. I'm just like taking it as it goes in.
You're a mayfly,
as with life. If someone was sitting next to me and they were guessing the film,
not
you're not saying it out loud
internally.
No? Okay.
So
you do.
I definitely have.
You're an out loud guy.
I try to really
You're an out
put
loud
a plug
guy.
in it, but I will definitely sometimes I think will slip out, and I'm like,
And then when it happens, you're going to be like this.
Yeah, I ain't got no time for a smug man next to me. I'm watching a film.
You know that the kid meme of him with a mug, and it's like your mum watching you open your presents. That's Ben when
what I predicted comes true.
But so, because you say you do that, you do it inwardly,
Well,
right? Or what? But would it annoy you if someone next to you was doing it out loud? Guessing
Well, you
it,
surely don't want someone next to you ever doing that.
I tell you when I did
that
it.
would be so annoying. And I definitely have been that guy. Yeah.
I remember a film I did it really well on, but because it was cliched.
Right.
I'm not being. Was the Fantastic? Is it Fantastic? No.
Fantastic Beasts.
No, Seven. Fantastic
Fox?
Seven. No. The old shoot-up film.
The Magnificent Seven.
Magnificent.
Yeah,
I knew it wasn't
gotcha,
right.
yeah.
The Magnificent Seven, the remake.
Yep.
I was like the big guy. He's going to die at the end, but he's
Also,
going to
it's a
die.
remake.
He's going to die whilst taking loads of hits.
Yeah.
Because he's big, and that's what big guys do. And I was like, and my mate genuinely did actually say, "How did you know that?" And I was like, "Fucking yeah, you pander to me."
Proper.
I also did it recently on a whodunit true crime, and called it Real Early. That was a nice one.
Nice.
It's good when you do it on one. Yeah, so maybe on those, if it's like a documentary and I'm trying to maybe they've done
And a
or,
whodunit.
you're trying to figure it out.
A whodunit,
Yeah.
you do have that. You do have that chat.
But then
though.
Because you're
whodunits-
watching that with interest anyway.
But then whodunits then pride themselves on trying to subvert your expectations and have you not be able to guess it. By the
Exactly.
way, that was Vincent D'Onofrio that got shot to pieces in that scene.
I love
But
it.
I just wanted you to...
Hey, we didn't get a cinema club, but we got an obscure, suspicious.
Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio, fantastic
out.
actor. He's the one that takes loads of Halo bullets and then goes down. Yeah, very good, very good.
Brilliant.
Jesus.
Props to you, man.
Also, nerd glasses.
I detest you when you do that.
Yeah. It's
I
Like a
actually
part of
think-
my soul dies.
No, I love it. Because I know nothing.
It's also a remake, and the remake was based on the Seven Samurai from.
Yeah.
So just so you
But
guys.
you do something that my dad he reminds me of my dad, right? When we were younger, my dad used to do this thing. If a song comes on that's from 1960
Jesus,
to
don't even
1985,
start me.
my dad would go, "Oh, good one, this one, yeah. Pet Shop Boys, 1987,
Banger.
summer it was. I was driving a yellow Pontiac at the time. Yeah, I was living in old Stewart Street. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And the front page on the news on that weekend.
And
was,
for my whole childhood,
whatever.
I went, oh, bloody hell, he's got a memory. That man. Oh, it's your dad, isn't it? And then, his nemesis to this day is this old thing. Because now,
Because you're fact checking
I
it.
Shazam him,
Yes.
and I went, you lying git. You were about 3 years out. I fact checked everything he said, and he looked at me and he gave me a wry smile. Like, I went, you've been doing that the whole bloody time, haven't you?
All my life.
Making up a story.
Well, he probably wasn't making it up. It was probably a guess, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
It was never. But
But
he
people
said
have
it was
haven't
such
been fact checked their whole life, have they? So they've been getting away with that.
such authority.
Yeah.
Like Vincent D'Onofrio.
Vincent D'Onofrio is a fantastic actor, by the way. Bad guy from Men
That's
in Black.
like a
the first
quirky
one.
ice cream like sundae. Hey, you want the Vincent D'Onofrio? It's on offer.
By that,
He's
get
the
this-
Kingpin from Marvel. Yeah, anyway.
I believe you.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying
right.
is,
Fact check me.
you're
if you
living in
want.
a world of fact checks now.
Yeah.
You'd have.
And do you know what?
You'd have excelled 50
we,
years
that's
ago.
why we can't say nonsense because we know we can get fact checked.
You
really,
can go
in
and
a
fact
way.
check it. And the thing
Boys,
is,
that's why we can't say nonsense on this pod. Nonsense.
No, yeah.
It's not stopping you, is it?
and I speak with this much confidence knowing I can be fact checked. So what does that tell you?
Yeah. You're an ass.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. 10 points to
We have a
Gryffindor.
winner.
We haven't got a jingle for the next bit. We probably need to work
Because
on
I've
one.
just
Yeah,
made
we
it up on
do,
the
we do.
fly.
No.
Wait, where?
Yeah, we're not leapfrogging.
Oh, okay. I can't read. I can't read.
We've enjoyed this segment so far.
I've been really enjoying
We've done
it,
one
yeah.
or two of them. I can't remember now.
I've got two. One's really small, so we can just like dive into it, and then the other one's a little bit more verbose, and then we can just see what we think on that.
Okay, so it is.
Ask your uncles.
Bam, bam, bam.
Which is us.
Yeah.
In this situation. Right, so I will actually do it the other way around. I'm going to do the more meaty one first, and then the second one's a bit of a throwaway. So the question is, how do I tell my boss I can't afford to feed 25 people at a party? Seems pretty reasonable so far. Okay, so I work for a doctor at a small but successful practice. The doctor is a relatively new employer. He's young and comes from quite an affluent background, living in a very nice neighbourhood in comparison to those of us that work under him. He's very generous when it comes to bonuses, when we get them, but he has only ever given us actual pay raises when we approach him as a group. So they properly sit him down and say, right, it's what we need. He has invited all of invited all of the staff and our families to his parents' lake house for a staff party as a thank you for service. The problem is he's asked us all to bring a dish to share to make it a potluck style affair. I think it's a bit of a ridiculous ask because many of us are struggling to even put food on our own tables, and now there's an expectation to feed 20 plus people. Should I just decline the offer, or should I say how out of touch I think he is? That's the question.
Nachos.
Simple
Big
solutions.
old tray of nachos.
Next one.
Simple. Do you want to do the next one? Yeah. The job's done. Yeah. Nachos. Everybody brings nachos, and
Got to be you need some liquid, wouldn't you? If everyone, imagine
It's a dry night,
you're in the
yeah.
car park and you just look over, everyone's got a tray of nachos.
Imagine. Everyone had the same idea.
It's hard, isn't it? Because, like, for me, I don't think that's an unfair request. I'm like, oh, that sounds fun. But I don't struggle to put food on my table. I don't mean that in a big-headed way, but I don't. I at least have the safety in my life right now where that aspect of life is covered.
Yep.
But I know for a lot of people it's not. Yeah. So I can't. Yeah. I think if I couldn't, because I've been skinny in my life many times, brassic skinny,
Yeah.
and I'll just say no politely.
Yeah.
I don't put that
can't
on
do
someone
that, yeah.
else. Someone else offering an idea isn't their fault and rubbing it in. But I don't see how the other option was bring it up that it's out of touch.
Yeah.
I think you could bring it up without accusation and say,
Yeah.
by the way, just to let you know, a few of us are quite anxious about coming because we actually don't know if we can.
Or why don't we all cook for 10, make 10
Yeah.
dishes, and there's going to be enough food for everyone, isn't there? Or also, I might just not do it, and 25 other people are going to do it, and there's going to be more than enough food. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's clearly
Try
not
and
bad.
sneak under the...
Yeah, I think a little bit misguided, maybe. But I mean, is it really that out of touch? And I kind of feel like the fact that the story was, or the question was, packed together, compounded with a different issue, because you not getting pay raises is like a completely separate thing to you being invited to this party. Yes, the
Yeah.
same guy is doing that, but that's not like a singular issue.
But everyone thinks they're owed more pay rises than
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, maybe that's true, and maybe he does owe you guys more money or whatever, but that's like a completely separate conversation and has not really got anything to do with this lake house nice
He's
dinner.
doing a nice thing.
He's doing it
Yeah.
for you guys, as
Yeah,
it
yeah.
says.
As a bonding,
As
it's good for
like-
like it's nice for like we've all worked for bosses that don't do nothing
Yeah.
to us,
Yeah.
and then you've worked for a boss that does
Exactly.
those kind of things, and
Yeah.
it's that's
But this is it though. Like people do get a bit entitled. I'm not saying this person is, but it's almost like you bank
Something's never enough, innit?
goodwill, and they go right. Oh, because last year he took us out,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we didn't pay for it. Next year, you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
actually.
Something- it's never enough, is it, sometimes?
No,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think if it is, if it's a shared concern amongst
Yeah.
a lot of them,
Yeah.
they should bring it up,
yeah.
or not go and just
Yeah.
swallow it. But it sounds like it would be a nice day if they get on with their colleagues.
Yeah.
Sounds like a nice thing for him to do.
Or go and don't take food.
Some people would say, "Oh, that's out of touch because you've got a lake house and we haven't." But again, like, are you supposed to just not be aware that people that own companies have more money than their employees? Like that's the way the
how
world
it works. Yeah, yeah.
And if
Unfortunately,
you don't like that, then go and start your own company.
yeah.
what were you going to say there?
Also, dude's got a lake house, so surely.
Which
you know,
I don't know if I said. It's his parents'
it's his-
lake house.
Oh,
Did I
okay.
say that
Yeah,
on
yeah.
there? Sorry.
But his parents have.
so he's got some money, which is
So-
that's not a criminal act though.
If everyone went without, if there was no food, they're not going to starve, are they? You know.
No.
Yeah, just get some pizzas.
And also,
in.
he's not gonna.
Yeah, exactly. Just
He's
order
not
a load
gonna
of pizza or
moan
something like that.
If you turn up without food, I don't know. I feel like
I also don't think the expectation is for. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what a potluck thing is, but I didn't. My understanding wasn't that you would bring enough to feed every
No, you
single
bring
last
one.
human there.
Yeah.
You bring one
You
each.
bring a portion of something. Everyone brings a portion of something, and that, as a total, should spread to everybody.
so. Really, they've
And
got
if you
the wrong
don't
end
go,
of the
you're going to eat
stick
at
here.
home.
Yeah.
So just
So I didn't really.
Yeah, that's a good point. Bring your
I'm
dinner.
not too sure. Yeah,
Bring your
bring
fucking
your
dinner.
dinner
because you're going to need it.
and we'll see how we get on.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting
change my
one.
mind now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's got the
Change
wrong
all
end of the
that.
stick.
less.
Yeah, because they wouldn't be bringing 50 meals each, would they?
They've never run out of
Because if
food.
No.
everybody brought enough food to feed every single person that's there, you got way too much food.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. So that's kind
Everyone
of
could eat 25 times. Yeah,
Yeah, everyone's
How many
having 25
3 meals a
meals.
day.
And
then
What's
all brought
that? That's
nachos.
a week,
Yeah, like all brought
a week of
nachos.
nachos for first lunch and dinner.
So
All you hear is. Could have a conversation
Walking
there,
on
wouldn't you?
nacho crisps.
walking on nacho.
Around
I think
him.
have a conversation with the guy about the separate thing anyway.
Yeah.
It seems like maybe they're like unionized in a non-formalized
Yeah,
way,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
They're all sitting him down to have a talk about pay raise and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If it's working for you, then more power to you. I actually kind of feel bad for the guy a little bit to a
sounds-
certain degree.
yeah, yeah, it
He's
sounds
trying
like-
to help out.
It sounds like there wasn't a conversation as a prelude to this, and
Yeah.
just we all sat him down and said, "Give us more money," which I don't think is necessarily the right way to deal with things. But that's
Yeah,
to
we
each
don't
their
know.
own.
We don't know
To each
enough.
their own.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information in there missing. But I think you guys are right. I think they're probably
Of course, we're right. We're the uncles.
you use the right logic
Also,
as well.
yeah.
We're like the sisters from Hercules who share the eye.
Ah, yes, okay.
Oh.
That's a good reference, by the way. Yeah, I quite enjoy that.
Oh, when he makes a Hercules reference. Oh. But when I do it,
Wow.
you've watched that film so much. Oh
I mean,
my God.
you made 7 consecutive
How long has
Hercules
he been
references.
sitting on that resentment?
I didn't realise
I
I'd
didn't know
got
I'd
under
have to
his
bring it
skin.
up. I didn't know there'd be another Hercules
No, I'd
bloody
have to
reference.
bring it up.
You know, 0 to 0 over here, all right?
Another well-timed Hercules reference.
Yeah,
Good
well,
job.
it's just-
Thank you.
Wow, where does he get it from?
If only someone had such good timing, yeah.
Right, this next one, I only brought this one because I think this has been us, or some of us at certain points in time. I'm boring you there, mate.
Oh, Lord. Knives out.
Meow.
I love falling in love. Is that so wrong? So, I never. Basically, the question
Who
was,
are you aiming this at?
well, if you feel like it's talking to you, maybe it's talking to you. I never want to stop experiencing the rush of new love, and why should I? That's the question.
That's lust.
First of all, very good point. That's lust.
From a man who knows lust.
Yeah, mate.
If you're selling it, I'm buying it.
Lust on one shoulder, lust on the other. Yeah. So, yeah, did you feel like that was...
So that was just it?
That's it, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Should this person start looking into a reason
Therapy?
why...
Oh.
Therapy's probably not a bad... but just loving the idea of the what do you call it? The revolving door of new love.
Yeah, I think that's a normal thing to like in isolation because it is like chemically good stuff is happening to you.
Yep.
Right, there is like a literal chemical thing happening.
Scientific.
Yeah, serotonin's high.
Science is happening inside.
John Tickle says that's what's happening.
God, I love John Tickle. That's so good.
When he walked on custard.
Custard, yeah.
Pond full of custard.
That's all you can think about with John Tickle, isn't it? Imagine being known for walking on custard. Mad, isn't it?
The people out there that are not going to believe that, Google it yourself.
And he's known of that
Google
more now
walked
than he
on
was of
custard.
being
Google John Tickle walking on custard. Pause this video, go and watch that.
Forget this
Come
for the
back,
minute. Go
and
on.
if we were telling a lie, unsubscribe and dislike this video because
we're not lying.
But yeah, it's a normal thing. It's also a little bit like, okay, don't just go seeking that out. I've met a few, I think this is more women than men.
Okay, all right.
Personally.
Let's hear this.
And that's not saying that men are cold, but I've met a lot of girls on like first dates that you can just tell are like, they're just
Wanting to get loved.
they're
or
wanting to
they
love
want-
more than to find a good match.
Yeah.
That's
Whereas
lust
I
for love is more-
always went into a date to be like, right, I do want to find love, but I want to find it with the right person.
Yeah, I'm not going to rush on. Yeah.
Nah. Whereas I've been on a couple of dates, first dates especially, because they don't get a second, where they give you that needy vibe, and for me, that's just the biggest ick you could get.
Yeah, I hear that.
Guys do it as well, by the way.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
for
do
sure.
think it's
Definitely.
probably more girls.
I think that's if you're just a bit more settled and sure of yourself as well, then if you maybe, I don't know. But also, that's a bit of a selfish thing to do as well.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're disregarding the other person also possibly falling in love or whatever, and then just being like, meh, next one, I want to fall in love again with somebody else. You know what I mean?
You're seeking something external, aren't you?
But you're having it for yourself. It's
Yeah,
a two-way thing as well, and you're just taking the...
Yeah, it's
also
kind of a
yourself.
drug act. There's some kind of addictive behaviour there,
Right.
in a way, isn't there?
He's dirty druggy.
That sounds really bad, but like...
No,
No, it is.
Without
It's like...
without the consequences and the...
You're chasing that high. I
Yeah,
mean,
you
you're
are.
absolutely right.
You're
Yeah,
chasing
you're chasing
the
the
high,
high.
yeah.
I actually would really struggle to relate with this one because that's not me. I don't know how somebody could possibly.
You chased misery.
That's
You do.
That's not what I would say. But
You
there's
order
no way-
melancholy with a side order of darkness.
There's no way that I after
Easy on the hope.
easy on the hope. I don't like. I'm not big on hope. By the way,
It's the hope that kills you, innit? Every time.
Yeah, it's
You
the
know?
hope that kills
Facts.
you. I just don't.
You're like a vampire to sun with a little bit of hope touch. Get away.
I don't know how people can do it so often. And
Yeah,
go
yeah, yeah.
through it so quickly and be
Yeah.
like, I'm
That's
at
it.
this stage.
Yeah.
That for me is such a foreign concept because
Takes a while to get there, I mean.
after a date and even a really good date, I still don't even know if I like you because I don't know you. But somebody will have a date and be like, oh, that's the one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, hold on.
I was having this
what
chat.
do you mean that's the one?
I was having this chat with my girlfriend and I was thinking about this from like a safety perspective. Like, I've been on so many dates in my 20s. Like, I was single for most of my 20s. Went on a lot of dates, a lot of first dates. And like a lot of people do in big cities, right? And like, you know, you end up back at someone's house, whether or not you sleep with them or not. Like, just think, I just kind of deeped it the other day and I was thinking like, God, I could have been anyone. They could have been anyone. Like, obviously from a guy's point of view, you're never as, because you're
Yeah,
physically, you know, but people could be anyone. And there's a lot of nut jobs out there.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Tell a
saying
lot
this
from
to
going back to
scare people.
someone's
I'm not
house as
saying
well,
this
by
to
the way.
scare people. It's more of just a commentary of the situation going. People are trusting. Like, you can literally buy someone 3 drinks. They could, you know, say some compliments, put this act on that a lot of people can do.
Especially for a night.
We
Oh my
know
God.
someone that used to do that. The person that I don't like that
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Something to do, yeah.
Yeah.
And he would just spew out all those cliches, wouldn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
And
yeah,
it wouldn't be
yeah.
him talking, it would be this character he's created to get in their pants, basically. And so many guys and girls will put up that front, and then you just drop your guard and go, oh, here's my address.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of people are just looking for a good time like that as well, isn't it, really? A lot of people, especially I think now or lately, where maybe since COVID, I don't know, where people had everything took away and then everyone just sort of like goes dating, just has a willy-nilly about it. Do you know?
I'm not vilifying casual sex, by the way. I'm saying,
No,
but what I'm saying is, this to Ben's point of, I don't know you.
Yeah.
Literally, I do not know who you are.
Yeah.
You could literally eat people for all I know.
You could be a cannibal.
Yeah.
That's it's true.
Obviously the extremist way to
I'm
go.
being, but I'm just saying, it's like, it is weird that under the guise of it's now a date, like any other human interaction, you would be so untrusting of someone, and especially if they're attractive.
Oh, for sure. That's got you. That's got 2 feet in the door already.
Yeah.
Like, let's say, like on a softer example of what you've just said, everybody is trying to put their best foot forward when they're in a new relationship.
Yes.
And you are not really getting the true depiction of what that person is, even over like a period of months sometimes.
And years for some
People are telling you that they love the same kind of movies that you love. They watch they love the same kind of books that you read. They love the same kind of music that you read. Listen to that. It's not true. They're just trying to relate to you. They just want to be around you. Yeah. And this is not like a vindictive thing. It's just that they are trying to get nearer you and they just want to be
Find
around
common
you.
ground.
So that's what they do. So when I think to myself, over 6 months, you still might not know someone. The people that say like that's the one after like 1 night, 2 nights, or whatever, a short span of time, I just really can't get behind that at all.
Well, you work with people for 6 months and you spend more time with them than if you date someone,
that's
and
true.
you probably be like, I don't have a clue who this person is.
Oh, like what's his surname?
Yeah.
That's Mike.
Yeah.
That's Mike.
That's Mike from accounts.
Yeah.
So true.
I actually have someone called Mike from my accounts.
There you go.
So
And then you can get on a
Have you
train.
seen the Lego movie? You know, and it's like...
You know he hasn't.
I think the Lego movie is so good. But it's also really so true to life in so many ways. But they're like, he goes missing, right? The main guy, his name's, I can't remember his name. And they're like, and they're like showing a picture and it's like, he's gone missing. And it's like, oh, that guy? Hey, we work with that guy. And it's like, hey, what's that guy called? And I don't know, he likes pizza. And he's like, yeah, everyone likes fucking pizza. You know what I mean?
That's real though. That's actually so real. I get what you're saying. I might watch the Lego movie now.
Bro,
yeah,
it's so
probably
good.
Not gonna,
No, please.
Do that.
You should.
It is really
You
good.
really should.
It is really good.
Sweet boys.
There we go. Well, that concludes episode 23. There we go.
Lovely stuff.
Thanks all for watching, and
Chin
we'll
chin.
see you all next week.